I'm doing that. This is Killer Kyle, and welcome to. Hey, me Matt here. This is Killer Kyle, and welcome to another episode of Wheels of Fury.
Yeah.
And it's the last installment of 1985 when we talk about NWA, AWA Clash in Rutherford, New Jersey, Star Wars.
Yeah. And, I will say with this car, you did have a lot of big names. You had, Harley Race, Ric Flair, Rick Martel, Baron Von Raschke, Jerry Lawler, Road Warriors, several others, Kamala, Jimmy Valiant, and a whole list of others.
Yeah. And this was a really, really good show. I think that it was one of those arena shows that you look back at and it was a unique setting because it was almost like you go to a gym and you watch, a wrestling match, whereas now you can go to, let's say, the Cubs Coliseum, or, the Scotiabank Arena, or a stadium, or a dome, or something like that, whereas you go, I don't know if that makes any sense.
Like, back in the day, they would go to, your smaller venues, but then they'd also go to, Madison Square Garden, the Boston Garden, Maple Leaf Garden, the Philadelphia Spectrum, places like that. But they would also go to your regional area arenas, I'll call it.
Yeah.
Like the lesser known arenas, because everybody, of course, knows Madison Square Garden. They know at the time, they know the Boston Garden, Maple Leaf Gardens, the Philadelphia Spectrum. Now it's like TD Garden and
Budweiser Garden.
Budweiser Garden, yeah.
Yeah, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
The Tokyo Dome.
Right.
Yeah, you still have Wembley Stadium. And
Yeah.
all those things, anyways. But this show, you have the classic Minnesota-based promotion of AWA, and then, of course, you've got, I want to say Jim Crockett, NWA.
I think it was Jim Crockett.
Right.
Because I believe it was Jim Crockett Promotions, and then became the AWA.
Fred Gagne.
Fred Gagne, yes. And then it transitioned into, was the AWA, and then Jim Crockett Promotions, and then went to WCW.
Yes.
Something like that, anyways, yeah.
So, we raise a glass to everybody here.
Yeah.
I'm almost done. Anyways, by the way, this is good beer.
The bottle gave us each about a half a glass.
Yeah. But no sponsors. Anyways,
Yeah.
Nostrovia.
Nostrovia.
Let's get it on. and Jay and Mark Youngblood. That's interesting. Who defeated Larry Zbyszko, Nick Bockwinkel, and Dory Funk Jr.
Yes.
Yes. And these guys are, you look at Nick Bockwinkel, AWA champion, one of the more classy guys in that company.
Yeah.
The guy dressed well. He had the look of a champion. I mean, you would see that elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Larry Zbyszko. Yeah, he was a good wrestler, too. And I mean,
Yeah.
wrestling all over. You have the classic feud with him and Bruno Sammartino.
Yes.
Jimmy Valiant, one of the best wrestlers of his time. I don't know too much about Jay and Mark Youngblood, though.
Yeah.
So,
Dory Funk Jr., of course, the infamous Funk family, him and his brother Terry, and their father Dory Sr.
yeah.
And, like Matt said, Nick Bockwinkel, the, man's man, champion, professional wrestler. Larry Zbyszko was was a good wrestler in his time. Jimmy the Valiant, handsome Jimmy the Boogie Woogie Man Valiant, and Johnny Valiant. And then Jay and Mark Youngblood. I know Jay Youngblood at one point tag teamed with Ricky Steamboat.
Yes, that's
Mark,
right. Yeah.
Mark Youngblood. I'm not that familiar with Mark.
I know that Jay passed away. Yeah, not that familiar with Mark either, so.
Yeah. Then you had Kamala versus Mark Poole and Lou Fabiano. In a handicap match, Kamala, of course, we know plenty about him, the Ugandan giant.
Yeah.
We also know the WWF, of course. AWA? Or NWA? NWA, I believe.
Yeah, NWA, Mid-South.
Mid-South. That's about it.
Yeah, I think Jim Harris was one of those guys that was very charismatic. Obviously, didn't know too much about his first career. As a little kid, Kamala scared the absolute ever-living shit out of me.
Yeah.
And especially the theme music.
Oh, yeah. That airy... Not really airy, like just tribal music.
Yeah, it was almost like somebody was coming for you. You had to look in both directions, but I mean...
Then there was him slapping the belly.
Yeah. Kamala did end up going over, though.
Yeah, he pinned both of them. And, so... Yeah. The 6-man match went 15 minutes, went to a draw. This one went 7. Yeah, Mark and Lou, no clue who the fuck they are.
No.
None whatsoever. After that, you go to Bob Backlund and Billy Robinson. Of course, Bob Backlund, we know a lot about him.
Yeah.
He's second longest reigning WWF champion, next to, of course, the late Bruno Sammartino.
Yeah.
Had a very hell of a career in the 70s, and then his run in the mid-90s
Yeah.
was really good.
Early to mid-90s.
Early to mid-90s.
Because I remember he came in 92.
Right.
Or late 92, early 93, whichever.
Right.
I do remember the vignettes. I had absolutely no idea anything about him, but I saw, obviously, highlights of him in the late 70s, early 80s. So, and then of course Billy Robinson.
One of the biggest names in UK wrestling.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this guy was one of the best wrestlers. And I mean, tough motherfucker. I mean,
Oh yeah.
when you have somebody go to a bar and whip your eye socket out,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, actually, no, I think he kicked his eye socket out.
I believe so. Yeah.
So, yeah, it doesn't get any more badass than that. But,
And of course, we all have heard about the number of superstars that trained under Billy and
Yeah.
Snake Pit and Wiggum. Wiggum? Yeah.
yeah.
The
Oh.
most. I guess you can say the most. Well, yeah, the latest trainee, you could say. Well, kind of. Was Shayna Baszler. She trained under Josh Barnett, who kind of trained under Billy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But, yeah, Bob Backlund went over in this one.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you look at this guy and you don't think anything of it until you actually see an interview or a match and just realize there's a screw loose in there
With Billy?
with Bob.
Oh, I mean, you look at interviews Bob did, you know, early on in his career in the 70s, 80s even. You know, he was very well spoken, very intelligent.
Yeah.
I believe he's a Harvard graduate.
Princeton.
Princeton, yes, that's right, Princeton graduate. So yeah, very well spoken, very intelligent. You know, he was one of those guys that, like, Jack Roberts, like, of course, as we mentioned, or another guy we mentioned just a few minutes ago, like Bockwinkel,
Mm-hmm.
even a guy we'll talk about more a little bit later, Harley Race,
Yes.
could talk and, talk about the match, talk about his opponent, and whatever, but, didn't need to yell, didn't need to scream, didn't need to raise his voice. He could get his point across, and he was very eloquently spoken. It wasn't until later on in the 90s when he had the Mr. Bob Backlund gimmick, that's when it was like, okay, for this character,
It's fucking nuts.
he's got a fucking screw loose.
Yeah.
Or, as the old saying goes, he's a few bricks short of a full load. Or a few fries short of happy meal, or whatever you want to say.
And the poor guy lives in seclusion, no TV, no nothing. Just sits there and eats marijuana. So,
Well, I think he's comfortable with that, and usually, that's how he grew up.
oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, I remember a story, I think it was, he told a story, somebody told a story, I think it was Bob himself told a story about he would take like an empty water jug or milk jug, fill it with concrete, put a stick in it, let it sit, then take another milk jug, same thing, fill it with concrete, take the whole thing, flip it upside down, let it set, and that's what he used to as a weight.
Wait.
And I mean, this is in a time when going to the gym was not that popular, I would say. It wasn't until later in the 80s, well, maybe later in the 70s and in the 80s that, wrestlers would regularly go to the gym and work out and what have you.
Ronzel and Greg Gagne,
Yep.
yeah, versus Mr. Seattle and the Masked Superstar.
Yeah.
Mr. Seattle, whatever.
Mr.
Seattle.
Saito, yeah.
Here's a guy who was in a tag team with Mr. Fuji. And I think it was Mr. Fuji.
No.
No.
Mr. Fuji and Professor Toru Tanaka.
Oh, right.
Foul!
Yeah. But,
Mr. Saito or Saito? The name does sound familiar.
yeah.
Just trying to remember about him. I can't think of it offhand right now.
anyways,
Yeah.
this was a pretty good match.
Well,
So,
I'm sure it was.
yeah, I know. Once again, when we watched the show, we didn't see half of the matches on this card, unfortunately, so...
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
we've done that before.
yeah, we got something to work off of. But I mean, like, the first 4 to 5 matches, well, 4 at least, we were kind of winging here, so to speak. The rest of the card we'll get more in-depth too.
Yes.
It looks like 2 DDQ, which to me, like I said, which I believe is double disqualification. And it's like, that's interesting.
Yeah, so Jim Brunzell and Greg Gagne won that match. And... see, we've got Ivan and Nikita Koloff, who had defeated
Steve Kern and Jimmy Valiant.
and didn't really recognize Steve Kern.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, yeah, at that time he still had his long hair. I mean, obviously he would. I mean, a few years later, he would be Skinner.
Yeah.
So, Jimmy Valiant, gorgeous Jimmy Valiant, one of the biggest guys in Mid-South Wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
You have him, and I think it was NWA, I'm not quite sure.
I believe so, yeah.
This match was awesome. I mean, we talked about Nikita and Ivan before, two guys that were Russians.
Yes.
One guy from Montreal, another guy from Minneapolis.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, this match was awesome. They worked really well together. Steve and Jimmy, obviously, you thought they were going to win as well. Because, I mean, yeah, this was awesome. Jimmy definitely the more charismatic of that team.
Oh, God, yeah.
As he would.
Well, that's always how Jimmy was.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. He was one of those guys that was the biggest party animal.
Yeah.
Well, both him and his brother.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the Koloffs won this one.
The interesting thing to me in this match was, okay, Ivan and Nikita were in the match, but there was a third one as well. I don't know who it was, though.
It wasn't Johnny.
No, I mean, Ivan and Nikita.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, Ivan and Nikita were in the match. There was a third one out at ringside. I wonder if it was like...
I think it was Barry Dorsal.
Yeah, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Barry Darso. Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin versus AWA World Heavyweight Champion Rick Martel.
Yeah, you know, you talk about wrestlers who unfortunately didn't have a good career in WWF.
Right.
I think Rick Martel could have, but unfortunately, I mean, I think him and Tito did have the tag team titles.
I believe so, yes.
So, okay, there's that. But you look at him in AWA, and the biggest difference, like, you look at his look, and you don't think a heavyweight champion.
No.
So, I mean, this match was good, too. They definitely put on a good match. And, yeah, you kind of thought that Jimmy was going to win.
Right.
But, yeah, Rick Martel picked it up.
Yeah, look at Rick Martel in this match. And even, you could say early, okay, pre-WWF, if you will. You know, he was, you know, the charismatic wrestler. He was a very good wrestler. And, you know, like you say, you look at him and he thinks he would be, you know, world champion material, if you will. Then, you know, but of course, he, at this time, was the AWA world champion.
Yeah, and it's nothing to take away from him.
No.
I mean, I'm sure he could still wrestle today.
Yeah.
But it was just a weird combo. It was weird to look at a guy like him in AWA as a main eventer when you look at his career as the model in WWF.
Yeah.
And it was almost like, well, he had a chance, but it just didn't work out that well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he was in AWA, he was the world champion, and, you know, he did, he did very well in AWA, you know, world champion, main event, whatever. And then he goes to WWF, and of course, okay, he was partnered with Tito Santana, their Strike Force. They did very well. I believe they're tag team champions.
Yeah.
Then that team split. Tito still did fairly well on his own, and then, of course, they gave Rick Martel this model gimmick, and it just seemed
Pretty much, yeah.
right in the toilet.
Yes.
But I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's kind of the way it went. Anyway,
Yeah. I got the AWA World Tag Team titles. You got the Road Warriors versus Jerry Lawler and Baron Von Raschke.
don't think this was a championship match, but yeah, the Road Warriors were the AWA World Tag Team Champions.
Yeah.
A very unlikely pair of Jerry Lawler and
Yeah.
Baron Von Raschke.
Yes, and I think, you look at Baron and very charismatic.
Yes.
He had, I don't know how they got away with it, but a Nazi gimmick. You could see him goose stepping all over the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, he couldn't do the Nazi salute or anything, just this or whatever. So, and then of course Jerry, and I think Jerry was probably one of the best wrestlers of that time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, AWA champion, his feud with Terry Funk,
Yeah.
his feud with Andy Kaufman.
Yes.
I mean, you look at a guy that brought in a celebrity. Then at that time, it was very unknown
Right.
to do that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, this was a really good match. Obviously, the Road Warriors won.
The thing with this match is it ended in a very kind of like, in my opinion, anticlimactic way.
Yeah,
Like, it was a good match, but then, like, you have Animal go for a clothesline on Baron. Baron ducked. Hawk clotheslined him from the outside, and that's how the match ended. It's like, no doomsday device, no pile driver, no something like that, a clothesline.
yeah, no claw. Well, there was a claw.
No, there was. But
Yes.
I mean, this was AWE, NWA. They ended matches in very quick and oftentimes bizarre ways.
Right.
Anywho. Next, you have NWA World Champion Ric Flair.
Whoa!
Against one of his biggest and toughest rivals, Harley Race.
Yes, you want to talk about one of the toughest motherfuckers in the business.
Oh yeah.
And Harley Race was one of those guys that was the man's man.
Yes.
A wrestler's wrestler. And I think he was in the army.
Right.
He was one of those guys that didn't give a fuck.
No.
Like, he could probably drink a whole bunch of beers before a match. He smoked a bunch of cigarettes, but he could still get in the ring and put on an athletic performance.
Oh yeah.
And with Ric Flair, here's a guy who, I was just saying this to Kyle, he was fucking 35 or 36 years old at that time.
Right.
He was, like, so fucking young, and
Yeah.
it's surprising to see that. Like, I mean, there's not too many matches that I could find from the 70s, but
Yeah.
this was pretty cool. And I mean, big shocker, he bled.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, these two knew each other, like,
Oh yeah.
You have Rick do the knee.
Yep.
You have a couple flying headbutts by Harley, which I honestly don't know how it doesn't fuck with your brain, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, it basically got the figure four. I think that won the match.
No.
Oh,
No. It was Harley came off the top with the crossbody. Rick reversed it and pinned him.
all right, yes.
Yeah. There was a figure four in the match, but then
Yeah.
Harley reversed it. Rick got out, and then they continued on. And then, yeah.
Yeah.
And this match was the longest match on the card by the looks of things, 25 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it was well deserved. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
these two guys, like I said, were one of the best wrestlers of that time.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, and you know, that's just the way it was. Wrestling, Harley's career probably spans all the way to the 60s.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then to finish things off, you had a tag team battle royal with pretty much everybody we've named, just about. Or, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Now, Sergeant Slaughter was in this match. He was supposed to be partnered with Crusher Jerry Blackwell. Jerry was injured, so he couldn't participate.
Right.
Slaughter had to go it alone against, the Road Warriors, Ivan and Nikita Koloff, Greg Gagne, Jim Brunzell, Kamala, Billy Robinson, Mark and Chris Youngblood, Jerry Lawler, Brett Morosky, Bob Blackland, Jimmy Valiant, Mr. Saito, My Superstar, Nick Bockwinkel, Dory Funk Jr., Jimmy Garvin, Larry Zabesco, Steve Kern, and Jerry Oski?
Yeah.
Oski. Okay.
Yeah, this was a good match. I didn't really see most of it because I was getting stuff. But you have Sergeant Slaughter who got the win,
Right.
and I think the trophy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, again, there's another guy. Although, unlike Rick Martel, had a much better career in WWF.
True.
You know, you look at a guy though that basically only held one title,
Yeah.
which is actually unfortunate because the feuds that this guy had,
Oh,
like
absolutely.
Pat Patterson, Hogan,
Mhm.
a bunch of others,
Oh, yeah.
Jacques Rougeau,
Jacques
that's the
Rougeau.
penalty.
Yeah.
I think that was something that they could have done more of, but at the same time, you know, he started becoming the commissioner as early as '93, I think.
I know he was behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It was later on, like 97. He
Yes.
was commissioner.
Yeah, no, that's true, I know. But, yeah, this was a really good show. Again, I wish we could have saw, like, maybe 3 of those matches that weren't on the
Yeah.
video that we watched, but exactly.
And the weird thing is, as we're watching, okay, this match took place in East Rutherford, New Jersey. We're watching the video, and it's in fucking Japanese.
Yeah, I think that was weird. Especially having an interview with Jimmy Garvin, and there's a Japanese stub over, and
Yeah.
that was weird to listen to, and don't know why that happened. But even the words were Japanese.
Maybe it was one of those things where it was like, that video was from, like, watching it in Japan, and you got the Japanese commentators, the Japanese names on the screen and whatever.
Yeah.
Certainly weird, but nonetheless, we're still able to follow what's going on.
Yeah.
Just watch.
So this is finally the 3rd installment of Wheels of Fury Look Back at You series.
Yeah.
1985. I know it was long. Tickety. And
Hey-o.
yeah. But that's what happens. I mean, I think of an idea and then it fucking, you know, they do other stuff. So it's almost like it is what it is.
Yeah.
So now that's over.
Yep.
Now we're gonna turn my attention, or our attention, onto Killer Kyle for his pick for the next installment.
Let's see here. What can we do? Why don't we do... How about... Okay, how about 93?
Okay. Actually, that's a very good year,
Yeah.
in my opinion. So, alright. Wheels of Fury will do 1993 for the next Back at Your series. But for now, I think up next is Great American Bash. No?
No. That's still another 2 weeks away.
Oh,
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the next one will be Slammiversary.
alright.
Because I know SummerSlam is until August,
Yeah.
and Great American Bash is July the 30th. So I believe the next one is going to be Slammiversary.
Alright. So anyways, this has been a great episode.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so, anyways, for me, Matt, this is Killer Kyle. Sayonara.
Goodbye.